Hello, Marcus Guiliano here, international business author, speaker, Forbes Business Council contributor, and restaurateur. Today we'll be talking about the golden rule for answering bad online reviews. Whether you realize it or not, your business is listed on TripAdvisor, Yelp, Google, and many other sites out there. That's because those sites pull your business information and put up a page for you and let your guests, your consumers, your clients share their opinions. Now, some business owners would rather not see the good or bad and not respond at all. Some respond to only the good, and some respond to the good and to the bad. And as a business owner for 15 years, I've been responding to all of my reviews, and I'm going to share with you what I feel is my golden rule for answering bad online reviews. So, first suggestion is you need to actually go and claim your listings on all these sites. Find out where you're at and claim your listing. It's a simple email, it's a phone call, they'll send you some kind of code. There's some verification way that you can verify your page and take control of it and post your hours, your About You section, and pictures, and your menu, and whatever else products you offer. That's the first step. Second step is set up the notifications so you get review notifications when somebody leaves a review on your business. This is the simple part though. Now, what happens when a bad online review comes in? Now, I like to equate this to a mother and her baby. A mother and her baby. When you tell a mother that her child is ugly, she takes offense to that. And there's problems there. And this is how a lot of us treat our businesses because we're so passionate and personal about our business. So here's what you have to do. Here's step number one in this equation, in my golden rule. Decide if you want to have the outcome. Decide what the outcome is going to be. Do you want that guest, that client, to come back into your establishment, to pay you more money, to give you money, to have a good experience, and to hopefully and possibly change your review from a 1-star to a 4 or 5-star? Decide if that's the outcome, or option number 2, you could care less if that customer ever comes back in, gives you money, and if they keep that one, you could just care less with whatever happens. Those are the two deciding outcomes. Most sensible business people will say they want their money again, they want them to come back in, they want them to change that review, hopefully. So from that point on is how you craft your plan on how to do this, to get them back in. First step, because it is a personal business and you have passion for it, and they just basically called your child ugly, you're going to want to wait 24 hours and really process what they've told you. My personal experience is reviews that I've answered in the first 5 minutes of a bad review coming in are my worst responses ever. Because again, my emotions are there and they're running high, and I'm going to show that reviewer that I'm right, or I'm going to show that reviewer that I'm right, but in a nice way, right? And it just doesn't happen like that. Sleep on it for 24 hours, because the next day it's going to mean a little different to you. You've had time to actually sleep on it and digest it, and then go from there. Step number 2, thank them for the review. Yes, absolutely thank them for taking time to give you valuable feedback that is going to help you improve your business, improve customer service, train staff, and basically they're doing you a favor by letting you know this. They're giving you honest feedback. Now, in the restaurant world and a lot of other businesses, reviews are totally subjective. The experience is totally subjective. So for example, in restaurants, because you've been eating grandma's meatballs your whole life and you go to a restaurant, they're not going to make grandma's meatballs. But because they're not grandma's meatballs, they may be bad to you. But to a person who will eat any meatball, they might be a fantastic meatball because they can appreciate a good meatball. But you can't appreciate a good meatball because you can only appreciate grandma's meatballs. So this is how subjective experiences are in businesses, in the food world especially. So you have to take everything for a grain of salt. Now, don't get me wrong. There's going to be fake reviews out there. There's going to be people that are totally lunatic in their reviews that just make no sense, whatever. But you're really not responding to these people's reviews for that person. You're responding to the other people that are coming onto your review site and saying, this owner's active, this owner's responding, and this owner actually care. Look how they answer this most ridiculous review ever. And it's true. I've had people that have sat at my bar and said, we went through your reviews, we chose your restaurant because there's some great reviews. Oh, and that one-star review on Yelp, what in the world are they talking about? That must be like one of the hardest people to please ever, and don't worry about that because that didn't determine that we're coming into your restaurant. And we really appreciated the way you handled it, which is why we knew we wanted to come into your restaurant. Okay, that's an important part. You're doing it for the other customers, the other guests that can be possibly coming into your restaurant. Thank them for the review. State your satisfaction policy. If you don't have a satisfaction policy, do that ASAP. I simply say, we have 100% satisfaction with our food at my restaurant, and if we would have known, we would have 100% replaced the meal, not charged you, and made it right while you were here. Now, sometimes they did tell a staff member, and a staff member didn't go through the proper channels of going and being able to make the change and do things. So first find out if they actually did tell a staff member, and if they did, this is our policy. We really like to uphold that policy, and we would have been happy to fix it for you right then and there, because we understand this is step number 3, you put yourself in their shoes, because we understand how important it is to actually like what you're eating, especially if you're paying for it, and go on and put yourself in their shoes and understand that this might be a very painful experience for them, even though you might think they're crazy or this or that. It's the total opposite. Now, at one of the in my earlier years as a chef apprentice working through this industry of hospitality, we learned that 99% satisfaction rate is not enough, because the 1%, the one person that had a bad experience out of 99, to them it's 100% of their experience. So what can we do to make that 100% of that one person's experience into a happy guest, a happy customer? So that's how you have to approach all of this. And you're not going to please everybody, and we just know that. And you have to understand that up front. You cannot please everybody, but you're going to do your best to try. And you might feel like some of these aren't worth responding to and this and that. And again, you're not responding for sometimes that person, you're responding for your future guests and clients, so they can see that you're a real business owner and you know how to handle yourself professionally. I like to write a personal note. Step number 4, I like to write a personal note to them. And if you're on one of these review sites, you can send them a note, like on Yelp. You can send them a private message and basically saying your public response, 4 and 5, you have a public response, you have a private response. They're almost the same message, except in your personal response, you can actually say something like, I'd love to speak with you. If you could take 5 minutes, I'd love to get the full version of this because I'm really concerned. I don't want this to happen again to anybody else, and I'm sorry that it happened to you. The idea is you want to get them on the phone because you're the best salesperson in your company, you, the owner. And by getting somebody on the phone, you can actually sway them and maybe get them back in the door. Now, you're not going to want to bribe. The review sites do not like bribing. So don't say, I'm going to give you $50 to come back and re-review me. You might give them $50 to come back in because you're replacing their meal service or product that they didn't like. And once they come in and have a good experience, that's when you can sort of make the inclination to say, oh, wow, what you just told me would make a great review online. If they told you, oh, it was fantastic, this and that, 9 out of 10 times, 9.5 out of 10 times, a matter of fact, they will go change your online review for you, on you, which is really the outcome of what you wanted to begin with. Have them come back in, spend some money, hopefully, and change that online review. Let's face it, you walk down any street in America and you have choices of where to do business. But where do people really choose when they don't know the area? They go on their phone. They go on the internet. They go on these review sites, and that's how they decide of where they're going. Plain and simple a lot of times. So your public response, your personal response. In that personal response, make sure you do something like, here's my personal cell phone number. Here's my personal extension. I'd like to speak to you regarding this matter. Thank you again. But make it somewhere where it's personal. You shouldn't post your personal phone number on a public comment. But in the personal message to them, you absolutely can. Make them feel special. In your public comment, you're going to basically state the same exact things. Thank you for the review. It helps us grow. We're not, we don't strive, we strive on this, this, and this. We're not here to create bad experiences. I did send you a personal note and would love to carry on more of a conversation with you about this so we can improve, okay? Let the people know who are reading these reviews that, hey, I did send this person a personal note, and I really do care about the outcome of this. And a lot of times people just want to be heard. That's it. They're just there to talk and talk and talk, and if nobody's hearing them, that's when they get upset. And when you hear people, a lot of times, I've just spoken to people about their online reviews before, and they've actually changed it without ever coming back in, because I said, wow, that's a real owner and he cares and he listened to me, and we were able to come to some kind of conclusion, whether you give them money back or whether you just listen to them. In fact, listening to them goes a very, very, very long way. And that is my golden formula for responding to negative online reviews. Hopefully that helps you in your business. And again, I'm going to stress, you must be responding to reviews. 100% must be. It's part of business. It's what's done nowadays. It's the age we're in. It just is. So go respond, claim these listings if you haven't already.